Hello, everybody. It is Sybil. It's Sybil. I'm Sybil Wilkes. How are you? Hello, Chris Paul. Hello, Huggy Lowdown. Hello, Coy
What's up, Sybil?
Malone.
Hey, Sybil.
Sybil!
You sound like Tom Joyner right there.
Yeah.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. How you feeling today?
I am. It's feeling like it. Yeah, one of those days.
One of those days.
One of those days. Yes. Thank you so much. And how are you, Mr. Lowdown?
I'm great. I'm great.
Okay. And
That's
Coy Malone, how are you?
Doing pretty well.
All right. So much for that information. How's your day? What's been going on? I know you guys had a big night in Washington, D.C.
We did. It was a great time.
Oh my gosh.
Audi Field, which is
So
home,
tell people what the comedy event was.
the Audi Field, which is home of DC United, the soccer team. They have a beautiful stadium.
That's
Sybil.
amazing. It's beautiful, Sybil.
Amazing. Tom Brown, he set it out. He laid it out. There was food for everybody. There was drink. There was
Real food, Sybil. Real food.
real food. Our black manager, I mean, we have the only who leaves an event with plates and Tupperware.
Yeah.
That's pop.
Yeah.
Great comedy show hosted by the legend, not just of DC, in all of comedy, Tommy Davidson.
Tommy Davidson. Yeah.
Was the
Oh,
host.
wow.
It
There
was
was a
hilarious.
young comedian on the show. He goes by the name Goofy.
Yeah. Terry
Goofy.
Jones.
A cease and desist from Disney any day now.
Terry Jones.
Took it home, and then we had Go. Shout out to Soundproof Band,
Soundproof.
and of course EU featuring Sugar Bear.
Ow.
Nice.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was a sold out show. It was just great. At 5 o'clock in the evening too. Perfect.
Oh, nice. So that sounds
talk-
like and
Talk
you
about
guys
talk about the older women that wouldn't let Tom Brown into his own event. Hey, so you never have older women working the door. They don't give up.
where you got to be, what you need to do.
They wouldn't let the man that was throwing the event into his event, Sybil.
That's funny. That's
Oh.
funny.
Don't hire older black women as your security guards.
Because they're only concerned about what they need to do with
Right.
this person.
Yeah, not losing their gig for nothing.
That is great. So how did it feel being on stage for this big event? Because obviously on a soccer field, this is a big deal.
Oh, that wasn't.
That's huge.
We had a whole level of the concourse.
Oh, okay.
But speaking of the old security guards, so my wife goes through security, and they're like, "We need to check your bag." So she slides the bag over to the woman. She said, "I'm not touching your damn bag. You open the bag."
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Was it the same one?
Yeah.
That damn Louise, man. Louise
Sorry,
wasn't
Miss
having
Louise.
it, man. Yeah, man.
So what's the protocol now? You just, like your wife had to learn, I guess you just take your bag and open it for them to see?
Yeah, they need to check your bag, but I guess they don't want to touch your bag because you may have a bag full of COVID.
Yeah.
So
They might have been looking in there for those church candies. Like, open your bag. I need something to eat real quick.
So overall, how's Tommy? How's our friend Tommy Davidson?
He's great. He's great.
great.
Yeah.
Still Tommy Davidson, and by that I mean still doing an hour of material after the headliner finishes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
But even
Yeah. Right. Yeah, he was great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very good. Very good. Coy, what's going on in your world?
Whew. Everything is going on in my world. We are coming down to the wire. I have a move out date set for next week. And I'm learning that, so first of all, I already have a home that needs more repairs than what was initially planned out or planned for. So with seeing that, we decided to go into another rental property, which will give us time to complete all these repairs and make customizations and upgrades to my
do what you need
home.
to do to your dad's house. Okay.
Yes, and to give me the time to do this without overworking myself, because I'm still in the process of grieving in some ways. So I needed that extra time. I'm finding out that the housing market and the rental market are both like, it's a rat race in Atlanta and even outside of Atlanta. I'm reading tons of horror stories about people that are coming into the city to buy a home. And for the sake of securing a home, they're sending out applications, putting out deposits, or putting down payments on properties that they have yet to view. And when they get there, they're seeing the terrible conditions, including homes that have no floors. I read one story about a couple that said there was a washer and dryer room that was actually just a closet with an extension cord that ran under the house into water and back up through to the doors. And I'm like, are you serious? I'm seeing houses
Coy, let me ask you this, because if you could hold off on this, because I think this relates to what we're going to talk about and what's really going on. But there are a couple of topical things that I do want to talk about first. First of all, today, actually, let's start with the fact that over the weekend, the Facebook whistleblower came out in public in a 60 Minutes interview. And this young woman has worked for Facebook for a very long time, and she has been identified. And so we're seeing this interview in which she is talking about all of the disappointments that have come about as a result of what Facebook has done in terms of informing and being translucent with their Facebook followers, with the people that use their particular app for all of their information, news information, as well as how they are parlaying information. And one of these key things is the way that they enabled those involved in the January 6th insurrection. She is going to appear before Congress and give her testimony about this as well. So I'm wondering if you all got a chance to see her and if you have any thoughts on what's going on, because this also happened within 24 hours, in which Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp all mysteriously went down, and there was no communication or very little for most people who use those apps. So what are your thoughts?
Did Anonymous take I think I saw something, it was trending, like that group Anonymous is trying to say
they said Anonymous or Little Boosie.
Well, that's why I didn't take it so seriously, the Anonymous.
They said Anonymous or Little Boosie had something to do with it, bro.
Yeah.
I know millions of Americans found themselves with not knowing what to do at work.
What?
Right.
You mean I might actually have to do some work in here?
Nothing to take their mind off the day.
So, as a result of not having Facebook, as a result of not having Instagram and WhatsApp, did you all survive?
Hell yeah. I was on Twitter.
That was rough.
That was house hunting.
That was rough.
Say again, Chris?
I said not having Instagram was rough. I mean, when you use the bathroom, what you gonna do? What you gonna scroll?
A newspaper, bro.
How about a book?
A book.
Bible app.
A book. Playboy magazine.
The catalogs they still send you in the mail that you just throw out.
You know you get catalogs at the house.
Catalogs.
So, Coy, how did you manage today?
I was house hunting. We're at the wire right now, so I'm still looking for a place.
Okay, so you did not have to deal with it. How about you, Huggy, and beyond Twitter? Did it affect you at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
Huggy wasn't even able to go online and stalk women today.
Yeah.
He couldn't stalk their IG.
I don't do that anyway, bro.
Double tapping photos from 3 years ago by accident.
I'm good. I don't have to do that.
Funny. Somebody likes a picture from 3 years ago. They went on your IG.
That's the
I'm like, how did they get there?
Old stalker.
Evelyn Gatlin on YouTube says exactly what I said today to Chris. I actually had to do work. Wow. I wonder what the production values were in terms of the numbers today. Jackie on YouTube, Jackie Welch says, funny, though this is happening right before voting time. Well, for a lot of folks, it is a big election in the state of Virginia, the gubernatorial election coming up soon, as well as next year we'll be starting the primaries of the midterm election. So it is interesting, and I thought the proximity to the whistleblower coming out on 60 Minutes was key to this. That
I was out here running errands today for about, I don't know, 40 minutes, and I'm listening to news radio, local DC news radio the whole time. 40 minutes, I heard 3 different commercials, like Facebook PR commercials. They were like, no one cares more about security and national security than Facebook. And yeah, I said,
oh, that's interesting.
That's interesting. They got this PR campaign, ready to launch.
Yeah. So that's their answer.
Yeah.
They're pretty good at that when they have controversy across that app. Like the recent controversy that happened when their artificial intelligence was labeling fight videos on Facebook involving Black men as gorillas.
Yeah. I'm wondering, instead of handling the problem, is that their answer? Let's just press these commercials into play and we'll deal with this as it comes, because not only did it affect the viewing habits and the user habits of people, but it also affected the stock market as well.
And Facebook is never proactive in dealing with the problems on their site. Like, what didn't they just recently announce that they were gonna stop letting people post misinformation and disinformation about the virus? I mean, how it's been a year.
Right. What took you so long?
You let people spew crap about the vaccine, and now you're gonna do that?
I'm no fan of a lot of this, a lot of these social media platforms, but I will say that when you realize this and people are saying it and the volume is rising and rising, what takes you so long, Huggy? Why can't you get on the stick and correct these things? Or do you think, oh, this will all blow over and we'll just wait for this to be done and then we'll get back to it?
Disconnected. They have, like they said, they have a PR firm. They disconnected. They're not worried about people's day-to-day shit for real. Oh, excuse me. I apologize.
Chris, you're talking.
So much good can come from social media platforms like Facebook. I mean, we connect right now. We're connecting with the world. Anybody in the world can watch us right now.
Right.
Important topics, or you can keep in touch and find people you haven't seen in decades, since high school. There's so much great stuff that can be done.
That's the beauty of it.
But you can't allow the lies.
Right.
Just don't allow the lies.
But that seems to be how they're functioning.
Yes.
They function
for a communication
there's money in it.
There's a lot of money in it. Yeah.
They got a whole prop.
Oh, Chris.
She just ran over me. She's afraid because there's a storm outside.
Oh. Is this yours or is this the dog sitting?
It's mine.
Oh.
The dog sitting for himself.
Oh, she's cute.
Daddy's working. Get the hell out. Get the heck out of here.
Oh no.
What is that?
Don't try to act gangster now, bro. You be walking that dog 2 o'clock in the morning with a robe on.
Oh.
like a mob boss or something.
Right. You're just missing the glass
like
of cognac.
Chris Soprano.
Yeah, like he's Lucky Luciano.
Chris, what's the dog's name?
China. Chyna.
Oh, like
Which
black?
Awkward when I'm calling her from outside and my Asian neighbor's outside. Very awkward.
You said China with a Y.
Very awkward.
I just full disclosure, I am going through a major dog loving and wanting stage, and so every time I see somebody with a dog or on Instagram,
Me too. So I've never had a pet growing up. Never.
Really?
My mother bought me a seahorse. I put too much water in it, so I never seen it.
Oh, bless your heart.
Goodness.
My dad and I used to send away for those sea monkeys too. I think we shared that that bond. But I did grow up with dogs, and I know we're getting off topic here, but I did grow up with dogs, and then for my adult life, I haven't, because I just haven't had the schedule to have a dog. But now that things are the way they are, I think I might be able to handle it. But I am having major
Really?
dog
What do
ones.
you What do you want,
Yeah.
Sybil?
I want a
Small
mutt.
dog?
I want a
Um,
mutt. Yeah,
Okay.
I wanna, to go to the shelter and say,
Oh,
he needs me, she needs
right.
me,
Well,
and
now's a great
go from
time.
there.
There's some high quality
It's a
dogs
great time now.
now.
Huh?
D-
There's some high quality, not just mutts, but real high-bred canines in the shelter now because people haven't been able to afford them anymore.
Right.
Yep.
Really? So they
And
just
Yeah.
giving them up.
lost their jobs and
Yes.
their benefits anymore. They just can't afford her.
So
Yeah.
you said dogs running away from home?
Well, people are leaving the dogs, like with the hurricanes lately, when people had
Wow.
to leave
Right.
quickly and left their dogs behind, or took them to shelters, and with the understanding that hopefully they'll come back to them, but if not, they would find them a good home. So you're absolutely right,
Yeah.
Chris. Yeah.
And I just read an article stating that a lot of people got pets during the pandemic because they were at home. And now that a lot of people are going back to work, they're seeing that they don't have time to take care of the pets, or the pets are suffering from a great deal of separation anxiety.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's ending up having a lot of pets being dropped off at a lot of shelters. And a lot of them right now are full.
Well, I
Over
haven't heard
capacity.
that so much, Coy, as the fact that doggy daycares are seeing an uptick in business. So I and something I never heard of until a few years ago, and people taking their pets to doggy daycare because of the separation anxiety. They can't take them to work, and so they will take them and drop them off every day, like you do your parents or your kids.
I act as a doggy daycare for my neighbor, so I know what that's like.
What kind of dog?
She has what is it called? A Staffordshire.
Staffordshire.
Are you for
Terrier?
sure? A Stafford
Terrier,
for
yes.
sure?
Yeah, I know, right here. My Stafford
For sure, right?
I don't
For
know,
sure.
I was Uber pooling with a dog that was complaining about his owner.
All of these new
Yeah.
2000 newfangled things going on.
Just
I
kept
guess.
on barking. He was not shut up.
Took himself on a walk.
Okay. So that's where I am. Do you think, Huggy, that you might get a pet?
No.
No.
You should get a cat. They take care of themselves.
No.
No, I
I'm
hate
a
cats.
dog person.
No,
I'm a
I
dog
hate cats.
person.
Yeah, I don't want no
No.
cat either.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Suggest it to all of us, Coy.
Yes.
I'm not a cat person. Pets can get you the remote. Cannot get you the remote. So what's the point? Says Nike and Tim on Facebook.
Yes,
on
they
YouTube.
can.
Yes, they can.
If they're trained properly.
If you duct tape it to his back,
Whoop,
I don't have a pet. So
Who got to shave the damn things? Charlotte Bellamy on YouTube said, never had one. My sister had a dog, Benji. He barked at white folks and was not trained to do that. My daddy used to say that about our German Shepherd,
yeah.
that she had a black bark and a white bark. And her black bark
Really?
was really, and when the white folks would come to the, arr, arr, arr.
Wow.
All right, Dinah Price says on YouTube that China is beautiful, Chris.
Oh.
She's shivering.
Aw.
No.
So have you
So you can have shivering dogs out in the suburbs. So.
have you considered the Thunder Vest? I got my god dogs that.
Is that a thing, Sybil?
It's a thing. It's you.
Man, we done turned this into the Sybil Wilkes dog show.
I got a Thunder Vest for her, but I've been wearing it because it's real slim.
You said vest, not dress, Chris.
But here's the thing. Yolanda and Ward White, I got them for their dogs. Yolanda used it
That's
on
a thing.
Ramsey.
A thunder vest?
A thunder.
Wow.
And so you put it on, and it's sort of like the wrapping of
Like
a
a
baby.
Russell Westbrook, that's a different thunder vest.
Ding.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
and Yolanda allowed it for Ramsey, but Ward did not like the effect that it had on Lawler, and so we sent that one back. But for this one, Ramsey held on to his thunder vest.
Wow.
Actually, what
So
So
is
it really just kind of calms them.
at China's groomer, they sell like these tubes of CDB honey
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
get her house.
And he said
CBD or
that it's kind.
CDB? You don't even know the letters, brother. You buying the bootleg stuff out there.
All right, it's time for us to move to what's really going on. As if that wasn't what really is going on, this is what's really going on. And Coy,
Okay.
I asked you to bring your conversation to this portion of the show, and it is reminiscent of something that we've been talking about for the last several weeks. As one of the younger members of our staff, we've been talking to you about your latest steps into adulthood. You have had a very abrupt introduction into adulting, as it were, for when you consider all the things that you have happened with the unfortunate loss of your father, taking care of his affairs. Then there was the house. What are you going to do with the house? How do you take care of the house? How do you move into the house? All of these things are usually a part of the adulting process, but not all necessarily at the same time.
Right.
Want to give you an example from a sighting that I saw on D.L. Hughley's posting, and it talks about the different ways that people have moved into adulting. It might be something as simple as buying your first bed, deciding car insurance, that kind of thing. But yours is bigger. Coy, it's a fuller picture of really getting into the adult lifestyle, and so people are standing in bed and Bed Bath and Beyond and saying, is this a good pillow? How does that feel? And so those are the smaller scale decisions, but you're having to make these really large scale decisions. So let's talk about that, you guys, in terms of your introductions to adulthood, into adulting. And I'd like to hear from other people when you you were going through something and you realized, dang, I'm an adult. I'm a grown person now. Coy, you have been the most recent example, as I've said. So talk a little bit about that, because you're even talking about trying to find a house while you move, or trying to find housing while you wait to move into your house.
Yes, this is a process. Like, even today was the day that I went through a court process, which has been completed, which has named me the official executive of my father's estate. A lot of people aren't aware that this is something that you need to do when a parent passes, or even if you have a husband or a wife that
Yeah, your partner.
passes,
Yeah.
right? Or children, whoever, next of kin. This is something that makes it so you can continue making those decisions. If they have property, vehicles, you're able to make the decisions for those things and put them in your name should you want to keep them or sell them. This is stuff that I wasn't prepared for. This is stuff I had to learn as it happened. And it was just so much. And it's
On the
just
job
me.
training.
It's definitely on the job training. Now, mind you, I've been on my own pretty much since I graduated high school. I didn't move back home. Been able to get jobs and things like that on my own, been able to get places on my own and what have you. But this is just, it's another level of adulting, because not only are you grieving and you're mourning a loss, you're also having to almost set that to the side to continue the tasks that need to be completed in order to get things done before everything falls apart, including yourself.
So let me ask people that are listening, do you remember your first adulting moves, or those moves when you said, wow, what is this? This is adulting 101. Coy is probably like in the fourth degree of this. If out of 5 degrees, she's probably in the fourth or fifth degree of this adulting. Adulting 101. Huggy, do you remember where you're like, dang, I'm a grown A person here?
I guess when I was dating this girl, and she put me the hell out of her apartment.
I'm sorry to laugh. I'm sorry.
So
Me too.
I would get put out so much, Sybil. I kept my stuff in trash bags, Sybil. Even still, I probably still have some stuff in the trash bag, just because I've been conditioned. But
to keep it moving.
yes, you put me out. So I live with my sister for the longest time. Not the longest, for a couple of months. I lived with my sister, and my
Well, it's a
sister
long
would be
time for her.
Yeah, my sister would be at work, and I would be at home, just chilling, looking at TV, be on her cordless phone, and
Cordless.
a cordless phone. And then when she come home from work, I never put the phone on the charger, and she get the phone and say,
Battery
dead. It just drove her crazy, and she probably went, "You got to get your own place."
Junior.
And I moved in an apartment across the alley from her.
Oh.
So I used to walk across the alley. Like if I wanted some stuff, like say a liter of soda, she would hoist it down. We was on some real hood. But my apartment looked like her old apartment. So that wasn't because I had stuff from her apartment in my
Of course.
That's funny.
That you stole from her apartment.
Yeah, no. True story. Yeah, that's a true story.
What you mean? This was mine.
Yeah.
It was.
That was me growing into adulthood. I had to get my own stuff.
That's real. That's
That is
absolutely real. Chris, what about you?
Well, I mean, I've been on my own since maybe a year or so after high school. So
you sound that's like Coy.
But I had a roommate, so I lived with my current black manager, and then we lived in a house with two other comics. So it was always kind of like a
fun
dorm room setting. So I didn't feel like an adult. I don't think I felt like an adult until I have a wife and kids, because then all of a sudden something matters more than me. Like
right.
Got real.
Now my financial responsibilities, like it's like I didn't care really what happened to me if I didn't have this or didn't have that. It's just me. But now that I have other people counting on me, that's when I feel really like an adult. But Coy's situation is unique because she's doing so many things that everyone does normally in their
process
of adulthood. But she's got it all at once. I mean, the thing that's crazy is dealing with her own personal grieving while having to handle the estate of the person she is grieving for.
Right.
And at the same time, get a house together and everything. And at the same time, continue her business moves and all that stuff. So that's like really like a compressed life right there. I did a lot of the things Coy's doing, but spread out over 30 years.
Yeah. And think about that, Coy, how impressive that is that you are handling all of this, because every one of these things that you're talking about, the loss of a parent, changing homes or rehabbing, or a lot of these things take years to adjust to, and you're having to do it on the fly. So that is commendable that you're doing it. And talking about it, because as you talk about, you're helping other people, right? Who may be going through one of these things, but there may be others who are going through multiple things like you are at the same time. And so I really commend you, and I ask you to take it easy on yourself, because you got, as you said today, you were named the executor of your father's estate. That's major.
Right.
Is that the answer, Huggy?
No,
the answer?
No, it's not all the answers, Sybil. It's some of the answers.
And you want to know what's funny?
So herbal inducement is not all.
Inducement and part of restoring the house is part of a therapeutic process.
It is. And I'm going to tell you something funny. It's so funny that you did that, Huggy, because I had a dream about my dad last night, and he was standing on the porch smoking a cigarette, looking at me. Yeah.
What was it? A cigarette, or was it a Huggy rat?
No, it was definitely a cigarette. My dad was a cigarette smoker. He smoked Marlboros. He's old school, and he just started quitting smoking. I want to say it was earlier this year. He was going to the treatments because I've been trying to get him to do this for years since I was a kid, and he started to quit smoking. So, yeah,
bless his heart.
You just have to make sure that when you've got so much on your plate right now that you have allowed yourself room to properly grieve the loss. Relationship, especially as your father. I mean, you don't want to be Florida Evans standing in there breaking the plate. Remember?
Oh,
Yeah, right. That episode.
Florida's cooking and stuff and cleaning and stuff. Then she just snapped.
Right. And that will happen.
Yeah.
That will happen. But
Right.
you're absolutely right, Chris. That was at a time where we, oh, my husband died. Okay, so let's keep it moving.
Right.
Instead of dealing with it and as Chris said, Coy,
Right.
allowing yourself to fully grieve and to give yourself the space and the
Right.
time to do
yes.
that. And that is magnified by all the other things you're going through. So
And y'all do know why John Amos left Good Times, right?
I heard. Chris, I know this story.
Please-
Chris, tell
please
him.
tell.
Tell him, Chris.
Because the actress who played Thelma, she just kept getting thicker and thicker. And he said, I can't keep pretending she's my daughter. I'm not that
good of an actor. I heard.
Oh man,
I never heard that story.
It is.
me neither.
I did not know that.
It was too many episodes where they was taping it. They kept catching Jane glancing over it.
And then that's where the whole damn thing came
Exactly.
from.
I didn't know I could say that today.
George Wallace is listening to us on YouTube and says, yes, washing your drawers in college, doing your own laundry and paying the car insurance.
George, who wore drawers in college?
Sonia Maples on YouTube says, adulting became real when I received my first electric bill 40 years ago. Am I supposed to pay this? Wow. And I guess that was the question she was asking herself 40 years ago, or maybe she's still asking herself that. Do I have to pay this?
Just think about the people that was forced into adulting at a young age because their parents would put bills in their name.
Oh,
That's another thing. Yeah.
You in the 6th grade, you got an electric bill. You can't do homework.
two car loans.
And then when you go for your first Sears credit card and they look up your credit history, and they're
Like,
like,
what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm 11 years old. I didn't buy no washing machine.
That's terrible.
That's true.
That's true stuff.
That is the absolute truth. I mean, we've heard years of people saying, how their parents opened up accounts in their kids' names
That's true
because
stuff.
their credit had run out, right? And so they're doing this. So absolutely. Adulting is not easy. As Jackie Welch said on YouTube, I thought that I had been adulting by being married, raising a daughter, and seeing grandkids. But it wasn't until I had to bury my mother in 2012 when I realized I was an adult and I never grieved. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And that is something, you go through all of these adult processes, steps, and only at the loss of a parent, which is, like I said, one of those major milestones in your life, Coy, that, and it takes so many years to fully reconcile and to get into a place for your mind and for your body and your spirit to completely resolve with yourself what's going on. And so all of this going on at the same time, and I don't mean to keep saying it but I want people to understand what a strong person you are.
People keep saying
really.
that. People keep saying that, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Because it's not, because you know what? Your folks raised you, your father and your mom raised you to be that strong person. And so a lot of us, when we lose a parent, we've seen how they have had to focus or deal with things with their own parents. And so that's been our guide. If you haven't had that and you're going through all these other things and you're on the job training, as we've said, that's major. That's major.
But we also have to hope that this new generation of teenagers, as they grow up and they start getting into adulting, they're able to accept in themselves if they can't be a superwoman or a superman, and it's okay for them to feel overwhelmed.
Right.
Because we weren't allowed to be. You're not allowed to be overwhelmed at our age. You just everything bad that happens to you, you just have to deal with it. Like there's the thing is, I mean, it's like mental health did not exist as an issue.
Right. Pray.
Now we can talk about it.
Right.
And
and seek some help.
Right. Some people are still in denial that it exists. They think you just need to pray.
Yeah. I mean,
I just posted a meme about this yesterday when it says when black kids say I'm depressed and the parents say you better depress them dishes.
Right.
Right. Like that's kind of how we grew up, or like the generation before us just kind of was like, whatever, just get over it. And it's a great thing now that we're recognizing that, hey, we need to talk about some of these feelings that we're having and address them.
Yeah.
Right.
I will tell you, my first adulting was, getting my first job in radio and moving to Florida and getting my first apartment that way. That's a lot different. There's a lot different, and standing in Bed Bath and Beyond and saying, "Oh, is this a good pillow?" And all that kind of stuff. So I commend you, and also think in terms of what adulting means to you and how we can help our young people like Coy as they are going through these moments of the steps of life, and how we can help them, better
Just by
travel through them.
having this fellowship right here.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
start,
Yeah. Speaking of fellowship, it's now time for us to talk about our vehicle of fellowship. That's the What You Need to Know newsletter. So let's talk about What You Need to Know news. Please go to SybilWilkes.com if you'd like to subscribe to our very free newsletter. It's absolutely, absolutely, absolutely free. Won't cost you a thing. Just the time to go to SybilWilkes.com, give us your name and your email address, and we'll have it in your email box.
Sorry, Greg.
Go. No. What's the matter?
What year did George Wallace go to college? You think about that, Chris?
I think when it was Tuskegee Institute.
Nah, I'm pretty sure it was before then, Sybil. Huh?
He went to Kunta Kinte State.
No. Christmas Addicts University.
Somebody is asking that on
Christmas addicts.
Christmas. Don't shoot till they see the whites of your eyes. All right.
The next
So
technical college.
Huh?
the what?
Technical college.
As you had a glitch. He said, Nat King. What'd you say?
Forget it. It's too late.
Hey.
He missed his window.
No,
He
it would
missed his
always
window.
drop out, Chris, right before
know.
you said
Right
technical
before your
college.
punchline.
Too late.
Oh man.
Okay.
I want to
Sorry.
hear it.
All right. That's another
Funny.
that's another adulting thing, I guess.
Yep.
So Coy, let's go to your story, because you have an interesting story that folks brought to our attention for the first part of the story, and now it has changed. And you talked about it in the newsletter. Additional charges filed in the fatal shooting of a Black man on the West Coast. Talk about it.
Yeah, so there was a couple that was at a bar, white couple, approached by a 22-year-old Black man named Barry Washington Jr., who complimented the woman. And in return, the man, whose name is Ian Cranston, shot this kid, this young man. And while this is going on, the girlfriend records cell phone video of her laughing at him as he's laying on the ground. Other people that were in the area, this happened right outside of a nightclub in Bend, Oregon. Other people went back to partying. They turned the music back up. And this young man died. So the person that shot him, Ian Cranston, was initially arrested, and then he posted bail on a $10,000 bond the same day. So this sparked a lot of outrage, protests, and a lot of calls and emails to the district attorney, John Hummel, who presented this case and was able to have Ian Cranston arrested again. But this time he was charged and he was indicted with a no warrant and given charges for second-degree murder, first and second-degree manslaughter, first-degree assault, and 2 counts of unlawful use of a deadly weapon. Now, here's the kicker. The video that was recorded by the girlfriend, she sent this into local news stations trying to prove innocence and justify the shooting of this unarmed Black man. She has not been arrested. She has not faced any charges.
Just off the bat, following up on that, do you think there's a possibility? Is there any conversation, do you know, that she will be charged as a result of this reckless act of hers?
Well, what the conversation is now, it's just all centering around the person, Ian Cranston, who shot the young man. And there's been a
killed
lot of
him.
shot and killed him, right? Which is unfortunate. I hate saying that because we see this all the time.
Right.
We see this all the time. And it's the same issue over and over. Why isn't this woman in trouble? So what activists are calling for now is for people to continue calling and emailing the defense attorney, the district attorney, to press charges and arrest this woman as well.
Okay, so do you have, I'm sorry, go ahead. I just want to know about the information.
Oh, yes, I do have the information. And here's the thing as well, even though there's the video, and in the video, they're calling him racial slurs, they did not bring up any kind of charges in terms of racism. No hate charges. Right. No hate crime charges. So that's two of the things that people are urging still now is to call and email to have this woman arrested and charged, and to have a hate crime charge brought up against this man. And if anybody wants to know, I don't know if that's something that we can share the number in the email.
Well, they can check the newsletter.
Check the newsletter. Yes, it's definitely posted in there.
Definitely. This is just, and it's all too common, as you say. And this really takes us back 60 years plus to the days of Emmett Till.
Right.
This is a situation where Emmett Till was alleged to have whistled at a white woman in Mississippi, and he did not.
Right.
Yeah,
but it was enough for them to go after this boy, go to his relative's home in the dead of night, take him away, and hang him,
and throw him in the river.
And
apparently, he had a list, so it sounded like he whistled when he talked.
Right. And that's how it started. So if this takes us back as well, let's talk about the Haitians. That takes us back to slavery as well. When you have Border Patrol agents on horses and whips, and taking us back 200 years to what happened during slavery. All of these things, and these are triggers. I'm sorry to say these are triggers, but this is, everything is old is new again.
Right.
And this is another case where, thank God, we have new technology that can bring this to law's attention and make some changes in the way this man was charged, perhaps the way she'll be charged, hopefully, and so on and so forth. But there's so many things that, it's just like, well, it's 2021. This will never happen again. And here we are.
To a 22-year-old outside.
Let's recognize the complexities there are of just being Black in this country, and you can recognize the complexities just by watching the first 40 minutes of this show tonight. Mm-hmm. For 40 minutes, we laughed and talked and hyped each other up about all we've been through as far as being an adult and how it felt to transition to adulthood, and those are all natural things. We talked about that no matter what race you are,
right, in
this country, you share those experiences that we just shared. But then at the end of that, we also have to deal with this. Like, we don't just get to live our lives and just have stories of how you got your first job in Florida and had to move out and get an apartment, or Huggy getting put out of his girlfriend's house, or me feeling like an adult when I got married, or all the things.
You didn't have to repeat that, Chris.
End of that. We also, now we got to deal with, it's always they bring us into race. We don't racism.
That's
right.
They drag us into it.
Well
and they always want to paint us as the bad guys. Oh,
right.
There you go again.
Right.
We'd much rather
with the race car.
Earlier in the show.
Yeah.
We'd much rather, but we've got to deal with this because you guys keep dragging us into it and reminding us.
Yep.
Because had that brother been another race, he would still be here.
Right.
Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
He was like, how dare you say something to my woman? How dare you?
So yeah, how dare you? And
Right,
maybe there would be a
right,
hit, maybe to
right.
the jaw, maybe a gut punch or something to another white guy.
And the fact that it was no remorse,
Not
you
None.
know,
laughter.
why this man was
Laughter
right.
was heard.
Right. And
This man was losing his life.
how many black people would answer Sybil's question? When did you first realize you were an adult? By answering, when my father, mother, sister, or brother were killed by the police. That would be their answer.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's the real.
Right.
Or the first time my mom and dad sat me down and told me what happens not only when I drive, but when I walk out of this house.
Right.
Yeah. I want to
Right.
remind everybody to definitely sign up for our newsletter. There is a story that I wrote for tomorrow's newsletter involving some young adults' first experience away from home in college, dealing with mind-blowing, astronomical amounts of racism. This is their first experiencing this without parents. I
And
want y'all to really read this
give them a
article.
sense because you're talking about what happened at Florida State, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
There's
All
been
right.
several incidents this semester alone, mind you, fall semester just started, of racist events that have been targeting Black students and students of color. That the university was saying, well, with one of the incidents, that has nothing to do with us because this was a prank that people outside of the university committed. And so
Okay.
this caused
So let's give them that.
yeah.
And then have them check out the newsletter.
Yes.
They can see your latest story. I do want to talk about the Supreme Court getting back to business and the cases that they will be involved with. They said it's God, guns, and abortion are going to be the three major themes of the current Supreme Court session. I will tell you that as far as the abortion question is concerned, a lot of it has to do with what the Supreme Court is going to be dealing with, and that they have dealt with was Texas, but they are going to be dealing with a case December 1st coming before the Supreme Court regarding the use of abortion or banning of abortion after 15 weeks in the state of Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
In the state of Texas, the Supreme Court allowed for the implementation of the state law that bans abortion after 6 weeks. Over the weekend, I was one of those who was out marching for a woman's right to her body and reproductive rights against the state of Texas as well as these other states, and this was the Women's March, in which thousands of men and women came out and supported this move against these states. It was pretty powerful. It was not as powerful as, I will say, some civil rights marches that I've been a part of, but it was really empowering, and it was great to see people of all colors, of all ages, and various identities of their sexuality who were represented on the streets of this country. And this is something that people are going to have to continue to do, and also remember that although there is a conservative majority on the United States Supreme Court, you guys, there's also the possibility of some openings on the Supreme Court. And with a Democratic president, this could hopefully start to continue to change the balance of the Supreme Court. 3 justices. If you just think what would have happened if Donald Trump had not won in 2016 and if Hillary Clinton had won in 2016, the difference that would have been made with the 3 justices that he was able to nominate and put on the Supreme Court.
Big
And
difference.
this absolutely, Coy, absolutely a big difference. So think about this as you are, not only as these cases are coming before the Supreme Court, not only as the cases and the determinations that are made by the Supreme Court, but think about this as we are getting close to the midterm elections and how important it is for you to register and to vote and make sure that everyone around you is registered and that we get everybody to the polls. If you don't like it, you got to do something about it and change it.
Right.
Get your booty to the poll.
Come on. That was right there for you, Coy. Right there for you. So that was the Supreme Court session story that we did, and also a story about the Texas Black Women's the Black Women's PAC was also in attendance, and so we'll talk about that in there, as well as I just want to give a shout out because I thought about this with you guys and where you were over the weekend. Yo Gotti has become a minority owner of DC United.
DC United, Sybil.
Soccer league, soccer team. And so, and thinking about how, we all can, expand our investment portfolios, if you will, and how he's showing us that there's a lot to be done in a lot of decisions
down in the DMV
about a lot of influence that can be made, how things are going to change on that soccer field.
Going down in the DMV.
That's a big level of adulting, investing.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
For sure. All right. It's now time for entertainment. And let me talk to you. And I'd like to get your thoughts on actor William Shatner, who will travel into the final frontier where no 90-year-old has ever gone before.
William Shatner, he can't fit. He can't even fit. He can't even fit in the stuff. He can't fit in them.
Well, they're gonna make an allowance for him in the Jeff Bezos company Blue Origin. They've announced that the 90-year-old actor will blast off from West Texas next week. What do you think?
Really?
For real, this is not a joke.
So, no, I don't believe that.
Yeah, Captain Kirk is going into space.
Into space, for real.
For real.
Wow.
He says, yes.
You got to.
It's true. I'm going to be a rocket man. He tweeted this out. It's never too late to experience new things. Now, I think it's great. I think William Shatner is as crazy as a Betsy bug, but I think that this is absolutely wonderful. Not so much the 90-year-old part, but that he's still out there doing new things. So let me ask you, what are the new things? Just off the top of your head, at this stage, what's something you haven't tried that you've always thought about, you think you might like to try?
I'm too busy thinking of William Shatner up there.
looking for aliens twerking. William Shatner used to hit everything, Chris.
Yeah.
Blue women, green women.
Hey, don't forget the history that was made on Star Trek regarding him and Uhuru. So
yeah, right.
I'm just saying. And it was, according to him, it was his idea. So we'll see.
I bet it was.
But here's the thing: it's not going to be for long, which most men and women know. It's only going to be about 10 minutes. The ride.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're going to go up and come back. And reach no higher than about 66 miles above the earth. They'll parachute back to the desert, not far from where it took off. So, in view of that, would you like to do that? Would you be interested, Chris or Huggy or Coy? Would you be interested? Because I love space travel and the idea of it. And for 10 minutes, I think I could do that. I don't have the money for it, but I think I could do it.
I would.
I can't trust.
I can't imagine being that high, Sybil. No.
Oh, you've been higher, my friend. Yes, Chris.
This is Jeff Bezos's ship.
Yeah, Blue Origin. Yes.
I can't trust Amazon drivers to hit my Porsche with my package. I'm not gonna trust them to land me.
Yeah, they hit different, don't they, bro? Amazon driver bounced my package to me today. I thought it was a basketball in it. Bro, it's a computer.
Right. Well, you know you're gonna get there on time.
I think so. Maybe Coy and I are alone in wanting to try this.
I would want to try that. So.
You would? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
all right, cool. Before we leave, just want to give you guys an opportunity. Do you have any appearances that you'd like to promote?
Oh, yeah.
What are we doing, Chris? We're supposed to be in Nashville and Huntsville on Wednesday.
You're going to North Carolina.
In a couple of weeks, back to back. Saturday in Nashville and Sunday in Huntsville. That's in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
All right. Well, we'll keep folks up to date. Also, want to remind people that our social activist, Coy Malone, and her colleague, I should say, is Quinn Townsend Riley. And she has a poetry album that is available. It's called And She Worthy. And it is available now on Apple Music, Spotify, and Tidal. All right. Before we leave, it's time for
Yo, Jews. Yogi's Jews.
Oh, nice. Nice. Mellow. Okay. So today's Yogi's Jewel is remember in relationships, small acts of service can reap huge dividends. I just have a visual in my head that's probably not appropriate for what she meant, but remember in relationships, small acts of service can reap huge dividends. With that, I bid you all.
Did Dr. Marks text her that?
Yeah, Huggy, all act of service.
Huh?
Speaking of small acts of service, hello, Huggy. Okay. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for a great day. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And aloha.